guys, it's Katie. Welcome back to my channel. I have a different setup today. I don't know that I love it because what it is I'm in this little corner of my room, and so like the background's not super pretty, but just bear with me. I'm trying some new things. This is my May book review. I'm very excited to say that I read 2 books this month. That might not sound like that big of a deal, but honestly, when I started this resolution to read 1 book a month for the year of 2018, that even was like a semi-lofty goal for me, just because I am so like ADHD. I have a really hard time focusing on things like reading. So the fact that I read 2 in 1 month is just like exciting and promising. So I thought that I would talk a little bit about both of them. The way I do my book reviews is I basically give you like a yes, medium, or no, just to start it off and have it be totally spoiler free. Then I'll dive a little bit further in. So for those of you who just want to hear that, the first book that I read this month was called Please Excuse My Daughter by Julie Clam, and it is a memoir. I'm pretty sure this is the first memoir I've ever read, unless there was one I read like in school that I'm just not sure of. So it was nonfiction, and yes, I do recommend this book. It was a little bit random, and I feel like most of the time memoirs are perhaps written by people who are super famous or whatever. I mean, I guess not necessarily, but I guess the point is maybe in the future I would want to read a memoir of somebody, like a real person whose life I was interested in. This chick was cool and stuff, like it was a really good book, but I didn't know who the heck she was. She had worked for like VH1 and stuff like that, and she's an author, but okay, so there's that one. I guess I kind of elaborated even on that one. We'll see if I say more about it or not. But the second book that I read, and I breezed through this, was Girl Online on Tour by Zoe Sugg, aka Zoella. This is the second book in her series of 3. I did already review Girl Online, the first one, in a previous video. I think it was like February or March. And this, yes, I would recommend. I wouldn't recommend reading this one to start with. I would say read Girl Online first, and then obviously this is the second book, and I do have the third book, and I do want to read the third book. Like, I might try to do 2 books again for June. I just started One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest today by Ken Kesey. I think it's like a classic novel. So that's, I think, gonna be my June book, and then if I have time, I will go through Girl Online. Going Solo is the name of the third one. But yes, I do recommend. So let me see if I can give you any more info. It's called Please Excuse My Daughter. The author talks about being raised in like this very privileged Jewish family in New York, and she kind of essentially informs you that like she wasn't really set up for success in a lot of ways. Her parents, everybody just kind of always bailed her out with money, with like, you know, they would just make excuses for her whole life. And so it's her navigating the waters, like as she becomes an adult, and it all takes place in New York because that's like where she's from. And I love New York. You can't actually see it because like I said, my background's pretty like fugly today, but these are like maps. I have 2 maps of New York right here. Yeah, this background would be a lot cuter if I would have like thought this out, but we're talking about the books. So it talks about like how as she is struggling, she's a writer, and as she's struggling to find work, and then she's out of money, and like she has this weird relationship with this weird kind of convicty guy, and then she ends up being in a relationship with the guy who ends up being her husband, but they experience like real issues, like health issues and like stuff with his mom and his family, and it just kind of takes you through the steps of her life and how she did eventually end up figuring it all out, but how she's almost like she wishes that she would have had a little bit more knowledge from a younger age, perhaps, and then like she ends up having a daughter. Not to like spoil it for you, I don't really think that's a spoiler, and so I think she's like more well equipped to prepare her daughter. So yeah, it was super cute and like good. It was just random, like I said, and I might want to read a memoir of like someone else that I actually like know. And then as for Girl Online on Tour, so this is definitely like a young adult book, as was the first one. I really, really liked the first one, and I definitely liked the second one as well. I might say I liked the first one just a hair better, only because, like I said, it's a young adult book, so it kind of comes with the territory, but one thing that like slightly was like, it's a little prude for me. And, you know, I'm a 29-year-old woman, so I don't mean that to sound negative. It's a young adult book, it should be a little prude, right? Like the age of people who like might be reading this. But in reference, and like the main character, she's in high school, she's like a junior, so yes, but there were parts where it talks about, you know, so there's the main characters who are Noah and Penny, and they're in a relationship and stuff, and like just parts of it were a little, not just prude's not just the right word, and by that I just mean like there are certain elements where I'm like, oh come on, like that wouldn't really happen, or maybe it would, but it's like a little Full House, like a little bit more of like the PG version of what you really wanted to happen in that moment, I think. And then the other piece that bugged me just slightly was that their relationship is really cute. And in the first book, I think she did an amazing job of depicting what it's like to fall in love. I mean, being somebody who has fallen in love before a few times, it's kind of hard to capture, like, to explain like exactly what that feels like. And in her book, in that first one where she talks about him and like I don't know, I think she did a good job. So this one is still like great, but their relationship is a little bit cringy to me at moments. Like it's a little bit Disney movie, like okay, come on, like okay, is it really that perfect? And like with that said, stuff happens, like it's not all sunshine and rainbows, it's not all totally G-rated, like it's not. But those are my only two things where like I was reminded like, okay, you're reading a young adult book in this. With that said, the chapters are really short, which I freaking love. Again, I have ADHD, so short chapters just help me like get on a roll and like go. And I whizzed through this. I totally loved it, and I want to read the third one like ASAP, like I mentioned. So yes, I recommend the other one. That's all I have to say. As mentioned, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is likely going to be my June book of the month. If I don't have more than one, we will see. And thank you guys for watching. Leave me some book recommendations down below. It could be a new book, it could be your favorite book of all time, anything really. I am like so much more of a reader now that I've started this whole journey of reading, and I love it. And I want to hear what you guys suggest. So I will see you in my next video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I do book reviews every month. I also do lots of home decor, beauty, lifestyle, etc. And I'd love to have you. Love you.